The soul is not where it lives, but where it loves. Latin proverb. What happens after we die? Have you ever found yourself wondering about life beyond this one? Is there truly an end, or do we continue in some form? These are questions that have captivated human beings for centuries. We all feel the pull to understand what comes after life, to find deeper meaning beyond our everyday experiences. Yet, in our busy lives, it can be easy to overlook the bigger picture. But what if the answers are closer than we think? Hello and welcome back to our channel, Son.Mindfulness. We're so glad you're here with us today. In this video, we're going to explore profound insights into life, death, and the journey of the soul. As we dive into the teachings of Edgar Cayce, a renowned clairvoyant, we'll also explore how his views align with Buddhist philosophy on reincarnation, the afterlife, and the path to spiritual growth. Both Cayce and Buddhism offer us powerful perspectives on life's mysteries, perspectives that invite us to look deeper into our own lives. But why does this matter to you? In today's world, many of us are grappling with feelings of confusion and uncertainty about what happens after we leave this life. We feel the weight of mortality pressing on us, unsure of how to prepare for the inevitable. The good news is, both Cayce's insights and Buddhist teachings can help us navigate these questions, providing us with peace and clarity. They teach us that death is not an end, but a continuation of the soul's journey. A journey of spiritual growth and awakening. By understanding these teachings, we can find comfort in the idea that our lives are part of a greater cycle of evolution, and our suffering is a tool for growth. Stay with us until the end of this video, and we'll show you how these ancient insights can transform your perspective on life, death, and everything in between. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Son.Mindfulness, and support us as we continue to share more of these life-changing insights. May you always remain healthy, peaceful, and happy, and may you continue to grow in wisdom and understanding. Now, let's embark on this fascinating journey to uncover the deeper truths about life's eternal cycle. Section 1. Buddhist Philosophy on Death and Impermanence. 1. Death in Buddhism. The concept of impermanence, or anicca, is fundamental in Buddhist philosophy. It teaches that nothing lasts forever. This applies to all things, people, situations, and even our very lives. In Buddhism, death is not seen as an end, but as a natural transition. It's part of the cycle of samsara, the endless wheel of birth, death, and rebirth. Just as the seasons change, so too does life. We are born, we live, we die, and then we are reborn. This cycle continues until one reaches enlightenment, breaking free from samsara. Death, then, is a release. It is not to be feared. Instead, it is simply a part of the journey we all must face. But why do we fear it so much? Is it the unknown that causes this fear, or is it our attachment to the self? Buddhism teaches us that fear arises from attachment. When we cling to our identity, to our body, or to the life we know, we create suffering. But what if we could let go of that attachment? What if we could see death not as an enemy, but as a natural part of life's flow? This is where the Buddhist perspective offers us a profound shift in understanding. 2. Relating to Edgar Cayce's description. Edgar Cayce, the famous clairvoyant, described his out-of-body experiences in a way that aligns with Buddhist thought. He spoke of the soul's departure from the body as peaceful and without pain. In his trance-like state, he saw his own body and felt an overwhelming sense of lightness. It was as if he shed a heavy coat and became free. This mirrors the Buddhist understanding of death as a gentle release from the body. For Cayce, the soul left without fear or distress, just as the Buddha taught that one should approach death with calmness. In both views, death is not a painful end, but a peaceful transition. Both perspectives invite us to see death not as a final termination, but as a part of the ongoing flow of life. When the soul departs, it returns to a space of freedom. Just as the Buddha taught that liberation comes when we release our attachments, Cayce's descriptions show that death can be the soul's release from the confines of the physical body. It is a return to something greater. A return to peace. 3. Preparing for death through Buddhist practice. In Buddhism, preparation for death is not just about physical readiness, it is about mental and emotional preparation. The practice of mindfulness is key. Mindfulness allows us to be present in the moment, letting go of distractions, fears, and attachments. When we are mindful, we are aware of the impermanence of all things. We come to understand that life is fleeting. We realize that every moment is precious because it is temporary. Buddhism teaches that by accepting impermanence, we reduce our fear of death. This is not about becoming detached from life, but about living more fully in each moment. Through meditation, we gain insight into the true nature of existence. Meditation helps us cultivate equanimity, an ability to remain balanced no matter what comes our way. In the face of death, equanimity allows us to let go of our fears and attachments. We come to see that death is not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced as part of our journey. Think of the great Buddhist monks and nuns who have lived their lives in service of others. They understand death as a natural and inevitable part of their spiritual path. Their practice helps them meet death with grace. One such figure is the great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. He often spoke of death as a continuation, not an end. He said, "The cloud does not die, it just becomes rain." This wisdom reflects the Buddhist view that death is simply a transformation. It's not something to fear, but something to understand. As we meditate and reflect on the impermanence of life, we too can come to this understanding. We can live fully and without fear, knowing that death is just another step on our path. Now that we've reflected on death from the Buddhist perspective, we can begin to explore the soul's journey after death. What happens to us when we pass on? Do we simply cease to exist, or is there something more? Let us now delve deeper into the soul's journey and enlightenment. Section 2. The soul's journey and enlightenment. 1. The soul and the cycle of rebirth, samsara. In Buddhist philosophy, life is not a single event but an endless journey. This journey is part of a greater cycle known as samsara. Samsara is the wheel of birth, death, and rebirth, continuously turning. We as souls are not static. We are constantly evolving. Each lifetime is a step in our spiritual growth. The soul experiences multiple lifetimes, each one a unique opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve. But how do we move forward in this cycle? In Buddhism, the answer lies in the law of karma. Karma is the law of cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action we take has consequences. Our actions today shape the experiences of our tomorrow, and not only in this life, but in the next. So, what does that mean for us? If we are not careful, we could create negative karma that binds us to the cycle of samsara. But if we act with wisdom, kindness, and compassion, we create positive karma that frees us. Each life is an opportunity to purify the mind and heart. Each life offers a chance to transcend suffering and move closer to enlightenment. But why does this process of rebirth continue? Why are we caught in the endless cycle of samsara? Perhaps the answer lies in our attachments. We are attached to the idea of self, to our desires, and to the illusion of permanence. The Buddha taught that attachment leads to suffering. It is through the process of rebirth that we gradually learn to let go of these attachments. We come to realize that nothing in this world is permanent. Everything is constantly changing. The Buddha showed us that through the practice of mindfulness and meditation, we can break free from the cycle. We can transcend the limitations of the self and reach a state of liberation. 2. Realization of the true self. In the afterlife, Edgar Cayce described a moment when the soul reviews its life. He said it was not a judgment, but rather an opportunity to understand one's essence. The soul, he explained, re-experiences its life not through the lens of punishment, but through a realization of its true nature. This mirrors a key teaching in Buddhism, the realization of the true self. In Buddhism, we understand that the self we cling to is an illusion. We often identify with our body, our thoughts, and our emotions. But these are not who we truly are. The Buddha taught that the true self is beyond the body and the mind. It is a state of pure awareness. It is our original nature, untouched by the world of appearances. Just as in Cayce's Life Review, where the soul sees the impact of its actions on others, in Buddhism, we come to see the interconnectedness of all beings. This realization is the first step towards enlightenment. Through mindfulness, we begin to see how our actions affect others. We understand that we are all connected in the web of existence. When we harm others, we are harming ourselves. And when we love and uplift others, we are lifting ourselves as well. This awareness leads us to a deeper understanding of our role in the world. It is not about judgment, but about awakening to the truth of our existence. 3. Why souls choose rebirth. In Cayce's teachings, he described how souls choose to reincarnate, not as a punishment, but as an opportunity for growth. He said that souls choose to return to Earth to continue their spiritual development. This idea closely aligns with Buddhist teachings on rebirth. In Buddhism, suffering is not seen as a punishment, but as a natural part of life. Suffering is what helps us grow spiritually. Without suffering, we would not learn compassion, patience, or wisdom. The Buddha himself faced great suffering in his life, but it was this very suffering that led him to enlightenment. He taught that we can transcend suffering through understanding its true nature. In the same way, souls choose rebirth, not because they are forced to, but because they have unfinished business. They return because there are still lessons to learn, still attachments to let go of. This perspective challenges our conventional view of reincarnation. It's not about punishment or eternal damnation. It's about growth, learning, and awakening. Just like a student returning to school for more lessons, the soul reincarnates to finish its spiritual education. Cayce's description of the soul choosing rebirth is an invitation for us to look at our own lives. Why are we here? What lessons are we meant to learn? Perhaps the challenges we face today are not obstacles, but opportunities to evolve. Just as a seed must break through the soil to grow into a plant, so must our soul break through its attachments to awaken fully. Now that we have explored the soul's journey through samsara, we begin to see that rebirth is not random. It is not about suffering, but about awakening to who we truly are. The next step is to understand why the soul chooses specific lives and challenges. Let us now explore how the soul makes these decisions and how those choices shape our spiritual journey. The soul's decision to reincarnate and life choices. Section 3. The soul's decision to reincarnate and life choices. 1. The soul's choice. In Buddhism, the soul's decision to reincarnate is not random. It is deeply influenced by unresolved karma and the soul's need for spiritual growth. Each lifetime serves as a chance to work through past actions, whether positive or negative. When we reincarnate, we carry the imprints of our previous lives. These imprints, our karma, shape the circumstances and challenges of our new life. This is why we are born into the families we are, in the environment we find ourselves in. But how do we know what lessons we need to learn? Buddhism teaches that we are not passive in this process. We are active participants in shaping our next life. The Buddha explained that everything is interconnected and each soul's journey is purposeful. We choose our next life based on the unresolved aspects of our past. This may involve unhealed wounds, unlearned lessons, or unfulfilled spiritual goals. For example, if we had difficulty with forgiveness in a past life, we may choose to reincarnate into a situation where we must practice forgiveness. Cayce's views align with this Buddhist idea. He described how souls choose their parents, their environment, and the challenges they face in their new lives. The soul's decision is not based on random chance, but on what will help it grow spiritually. Thus, every life situation has a purpose, a deeper spiritual lesson to teach. But how do we approach these challenges? How can we see them not as burdens, but as opportunities for spiritual growth? 2. The role of challenges in spiritual growth. In both Buddhist philosophy and Cayce's teachings, challenges are not viewed as punishment. Instead, they are seen as vital experiences for our spiritual development. Suffering, for instance, is not a sign that we have failed. Rather, it is an invitation to learn, to transform, and to awaken. In Buddhism, the first noble truth teaches us that suffering is inherent in life. But the second noble truth shows us that suffering arises from attachment, our desire for things to remain the same. When we cling to people, places, or ideas, we create suffering for ourselves. However, suffering is also the path to understanding. Through our struggles, we begin to see life's impermanence and our deep interconnectedness with others. Challenges open our hearts to compassion. They invite us to cultivate patience and wisdom. Think of the story of the great Buddhist monk, Milarepa. He endured tremendous hardship in his early life, facing betrayal, exile, and loss. But these trials shaped him into one of Tibet's most revered spiritual figures. Milarepa's life is a testament to the Buddhist understanding that suffering is not punishment. It is a crucible for transformation. In the same way, Cayce believed that the soul's struggles and challenges are an essential part of its spiritual journey. Rather than seeing hardship as a barrier, we should view it as a stepping stone toward awakening. Each challenge is an opportunity to practice love, forgiveness, and patience. But what happens when we face hardships that seem insurmountable? How can we find the strength to move through them? 3. Personal story or example. Consider the story of Viktor Frankl, the renowned psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. Frankl endured unimaginable suffering during his time in concentration camps. Yet he emerged from his ordeal with a profound understanding of life's purpose. He wrote in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, that even in the most difficult circumstances, we can find meaning and purpose. Frankl found that the key to survival was not merely physical strength, but the ability to find meaning in suffering. He discovered that our attitude towards suffering shapes our experience of it. This resonates deeply with the Buddhist understanding of suffering. Frankl's story teaches us that even in the darkest times, there is an opportunity for spiritual growth. His ability to transcend his suffering was rooted in his inner strength, much like the Buddha's teachings on the importance of mental fortitude. Just as the Buddha said, with our thoughts, we make the world. Frankl found that it was our inner thoughts and beliefs that determined whether we could grow through suffering or be consumed by it. Frankl's life demonstrates that our challenges are not merely obstacles. They are invitations to awaken to a higher level of understanding and compassion. Through our struggles, we can learn to see beyond our immediate discomfort and recognize the lessons they bring. The decision to reincarnate is a reflection of the soul's deep desire for growth. But how do we move forward in this journey? How do we transcend the limitations of suffering and achieve spiritual liberation? Let us now explore the path to enlightenment and liberation from the cycle of samsara. Enlightenment and the path to liberation. Section 4. Enlightenment and the path to liberation. Liberation from suffering, nirvana. In Buddhism, the ultimate goal is not simply to live, but to awaken. We strive for liberation from suffering, nirvana. But what does it truly mean to achieve nirvana? Nirvana is often misunderstood as a state of nothingness. However, it is the profound realization of freedom. Freedom from attachments, freedom from the illusion of self. In Buddhism, suffering arises because of attachment. Our desires are clinging to people, things, and ideas. These attachments create a false sense of self. This false self is the root of our suffering. The path to nirvana is the path to releasing these attachments. When we let go of the ego and the constant desire for more, we begin to experience true peace. But why is this so difficult? Why do we hold on to our attachments so tightly? One reason is the belief in a permanent, unchanging self. This belief, known as Atman in other traditions, is the illusion of the eternal I. But the Buddha taught the truth of anatta, or no self. We are not fixed, separate beings. We are constantly changing, interconnected with everything around us. To attain nirvana, we must realize that our true nature is not found in the ego, but in the interconnectedness of all things. In this realization, we find peace. In letting go of our attachments, we transcend suffering and step into the freedom of nirvana. 2. Cayce's view of the soul's true self. Edgar Cayce's teachings align with many aspects of Buddhist philosophy, particularly when it comes to the realization of the true self. In his descriptions of the afterlife, Cayce spoke of the soul recognizing its true nature after death. He said that when the soul leaves the body, it is no longer confined by the limitations of the physical form. In this space, the soul sees itself clearly, unburdened by the ego and the attachments it once held. This aligns closely with the Buddhist concept of anatta, the realization that the self is not a fixed entity. Instead, it is a flow, constantly changing and interconnected with all life. Cayce's idea that the soul recognizes its true self after death reflects the Buddhist understanding that enlightenment comes when we see beyond the illusions of ego. Both perspectives teach that we are not our bodies, our possessions, or our status. We are the awareness that connects all things. When we come to this realization, we no longer need to cling to the false identities we have created. We are free to live authentically, in alignment with our true nature. 3. Becoming your true self. Cayce famously said, "The hardest part is not dying, the hardest part is being yourself." What did he mean by this? Isn't it natural to want to be ourselves? Yet how often do we find ourselves living lives that are dictated by external expectations? How often do we wear masks to fit into the world, instead of expressing our true selves? In Buddhism, the concept of anatta, no self, teaches us that the ego is an illusion. It is a construct created by our mind, built on our attachments and desires. When we live according to this false self, we are living inauthentically. The hardest part is not dying, it is learning to live authentically, without the masks we have created. Both Cayce's teachings and Buddhism emphasize that life is not about striving for perfection. It is about being true to who we really are, beyond the ego. We must learn to let go of our attachments to what we think we should be. When we embrace our true selves, we move closer to enlightenment. This is the heart of both Cayce's wisdom and the Buddha's teachings, to live in alignment with our true nature. It's about shedding the layers of illusion and returning to the pure awareness that we are. 4. Connection to the universe and all beings. In both Buddhist philosophy and Cayce's teachings, the ultimate realization is the interconnectedness of all beings. In Buddhism, this is expressed through the concept of pratyasamutpada, or interdependent origination. This principle teaches that all things arise in dependence on conditions. Nothing exists in isolation. We are all connected. Our actions, thoughts, and words ripple through the fabric of the universe. When we realize this interconnectedness, we understand that our actions impact the world around us. No one is an island. In the Buddha's words, just as a flower does not pick or choose the bee, so do we not choose our companions. The same truth is reflected in Cayce's teachings. He spoke of the soul's journey as one of understanding and embracing the interconnectedness of all things. When we come to see ourselves as part of a larger whole, we naturally begin to live with greater compassion and understanding. We recognize that every person we meet is, in some way, a reflection of ourselves. This realization brings peace, because we no longer see others as separate or different. We see them as part of the same universal web of existence. In this way, both Buddhism and Cayce teach us that the key to true freedom and enlightenment lies in realizing our connection to all beings. When we let go of our ego and see ourselves as interconnected with everything, we begin to live with more love, compassion, and wisdom. Having explored the path to nirvana and the realization of the true self, we now arrive at a deeper question. What is the true purpose of our lives? Is it simply to awaken, or is there a greater meaning? Let us now consider the broader implications of enlightenment and reflect on how we can live these teachings in our daily lives. Conclusion. As we reflect on the insights shared in this exploration, it becomes clear that both Edgar Cayce's and Buddhist philosophies offer us profound wisdom about life, death, and the soul's journey. Death, in both traditions, is not an end. It is a transition, a part of the larger cycle of spiritual evolution. The cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara, is not to be feared but understood. It is a process that allows us to grow, to learn, and to evolve spiritually. Suffering, while an inevitable part of life, is not a punishment. It is a guide, one that leads us toward enlightenment, deeper understanding, and self-realization. Both Cayce and Buddhism teach us that life's challenges, hardships, and even pain are not obstacles. They are opportunities for growth, transformation, and awakening. It is through these experiences that we come to recognize our true selves. Just as Cayce spoke of the soul's recognition of its true nature after death, Buddhism also emphasizes the importance of realizing the illusion of the self. Both traditions affirm that enlightenment comes when we break free from the ego, from attachment, and from the illusion of separation. This understanding can help us live more authentically, more in alignment with our true nature. So I ask you, dear reader, are you living authentically? Are you becoming the person you were truly meant to be? These are powerful questions to reflect upon. As we navigate life's journey, it is essential to practice mindfulness, compassion, and meditation. These practices help us live with greater awareness and presence, embracing both the joys and the challenges of life. Through mindfulness, we can better prepare for both the life we are living now and the life that awaits us in future incarnations. By cultivating compassion, we align ourselves with the interconnectedness of all beings, understanding that our actions ripple out and affect the world around us. And through meditation, we can quiet the mind, letting go of attachments and moving closer to our true selves. I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to you, the reader. Thank you for investing your time and energy in this exploration of the soul's journey. It is my sincere hope that you have found something valuable and inspiring in these teachings. As you continue on your path, remember that each moment is an opportunity to live more mindfully, more compassionately, and more authentically. I invite you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Let's continue this journey together. And if you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel and supporting Son.Mindfulness. May you always remain healthy, peaceful, and happy, and may fortune continue to shine upon you. Thank you again, and I look forward to sharing more insights with you in the future. Thank you.